Well, here it is, and as promised, I said I would do a walk around review on this John Deere 850K that we purchased. Purchased this last fall, and this was a brand new machine that I ordered. And the reason I ordered it was to replace the case dozer. So if you go back at my channel, quite a few videos, you're going to see some of the things that's happened with the case. And if you go back to last summer, you'll see that we even demoed a John Deere and how we compared it to a cap. Now, I have not done a video on this, been meaning to, and I'll test my knowledge here and maybe explain to you guys kind of what John Deere did. Now, one of the main things you're going to see on an 850K, and excuse me for the wind here, this is kind of a crappy day out here today, so it's a little cool. But one of the major things you're going to see on a 850K is how these angle cut these fuel tanks. And these fuel tanks, if you see them like this design, that's a Tier 4 final. If you see them as a square design, where they don't have that jut out sculpted look to them, you're going to see them as a Tier 3 or Tier 4 interim. This dozer was custom ordered, and the configuration package on this particular machine is an 850K LGP, which all the LGPs are 8-roller frames, and that's usually pretty much any brand. If you see 8-roller, it's going to be LGP, 7 rollers, an XW or an XL. It does have 36-inch shoes, and it's got PAT blade, has a sweeps package, and factory ripper. Now this blade is a 157-inch wide blade, which is only available on the WTs, but they will custom build you this machine from John Deere for an LGP. And yes, it's more width than the machine is. Now the reason I bought this particular blade was the factory blade on these is 168. Well, 168 inches, in my opinion, is just quite a bit to shove in the ground. And you get a hard packed clay ground, it's not going to go in. So this machine needs to do a lot of versatility for our area. And by that I mean I needed a machine that's going to come out here and walk in soft ground, but I also need a machine that's going to be able to go in the hard packed summer clay. So a 157-inch blade will have better penetrating power than 168, and you're not really going to lose many yards. Also, when you build terrace, because this is a straight blade, your load gets carried out in a circle. It doesn't get carried evenly across the face of the blade. So you take a 168-inch blade, you got a big old arc to your pile of dirt. It makes it very difficult to build terraces or anything where you need, a smooth, continual line of dirt. So if you're to push this blade in, because it's a straight blade, the dirt's going to have an arc to it. It's going to carry heavier in the center, obviously, because the load pushes in the center and it starts to trail off. John Deere also, on these newer machines, added this top support here, just a spill guard. Absolutely love it, great design. The blade is just a little bit, in my opinion, almost a little bit thin. I think they could thicken that up a little bit, but the basic design of it's incredible. It really sheds its dirt well. They just really got the right alloys of steel, and like I said in another video, that case, it never polishes on that case machine, and this machine just rolls dirt just beautifully. So technically it's not rated for quite as many cubic yards as a case or a cap, but it actually will push more cubic yards just because of the way it's continually rolling with dirt. Hard to describe, but if you're an operator and you've been in one, you'll see what I'm talking about. John Deere, they use a fixed link here, and if you want to adjust the pitch of the blade, roll it forward or backward, you actually do it by moving these shims around. And right now I have it shimmed in a compromised position where it's somewhat back, so it'll carry some load, but at the same time it's enough forward, it'll dump a load. Down there is a ball socket design, big push ball. And the C-frames on this are absolutely massive, just way heavier than the case machine. I did order this with the heavy-duty radiator guard, or heavy-duty grill guard, and that's an improvement. A few serial numbers back, this was Cordura wrapped, And on this one, they went this plastic wrapping, keeps this thing straighter. On the others, it would want to lean over, and it started to get into the linkage. So if you had a Cordura wrapped one, you know, buy Cordura, I mean this stuff. So if you have an earlier model, buy that later wrapping. One place they went backwards, in my opinion, they went to the Tier 4 finals, was these engine compartments are no longer hinged open, they're bolt on. And the only part that hinges open is this little tiny narrow door slot. So on the other side, you have to unbolt all this, pop your platform loose to get in there and change oil. You can see the engine in here. It's well thought out, well designed. It's 414. It's got really good torque. Really happy with the performance of this machine. And there's the V-Cool package there. So the radiators and everything's sitting there at an angle. Now on an 850J, which is what I had years ago, if you really go back in the archive of videos, also a great machine, but the 850J was notoriously heating up in the summer. And there's that chrome stack option, just for looks. Seals around the cab are well thought out, well designed. Just the basic body and everything on this dozer is just really well designed. And if you've been watching my videos here lately, you're gonna see it on a case I did a review, and it has a mice issue. Also on a case, you have a cab that's bolted solid. And the only way you can access anything underneath the cab is the seat tilts up in the cab. So everything has to go through inside. Now this machine, of course this one you'd have to undo the ROPS, but this is a hydraulic jack, you unbolt the cab and it'll lay over. There's a cylinder. So in a need-be situation, it's a million times more easy to access. And this is kind of a foam structure like case, but hey, you hear that? Plastic, and hard plastic, not pure soft mouse-ridden foam. And you know what? No air conditioning ducts running on the outside of the body like the case. Just much better design. I mean, thought out through and through. The cab doors on a John Deere, they're going to be square up and down. And the windshields are going to be larger, more square, whereas a case, they actually lean back towards you. So this point here is back towards you. One particular thing I don't care for in a John Deere, I feel that they're a little wide. I mean, you sit in here and you're wide. And I talked to engineers at Con Expo, and they said the reason they designed it that way was for side hill. You could sit there and you could sway it back and forth and not dig yourself into the controls. Well, after realizing what they're talking about, I think it's a pretty good idea. But ergonomically, I think it's a little more comfortable. I mean, basic ergonomics, you sit in a chair, where you put your hand, you put it about, you know, on your thigh. So your controller should be here like a cat. Instead, it's over here. But still a good design. And there's the ripper, blade, and blade controls, and hydrostatic. Then again, here, you know, I leave the hydraulics engaged, or you can just engage them both. Just real simple. The case, you actually have toggle buttons you have to push. It's slow. All your controls are up here to start the machine, so that will boot up my screen. Radio, power up. Obviously, it's your starter switch there as well. And you can enter codes and all sorts of things. Waiting for this instrumentation panel to boot up, because this is a beautiful display, absolutely beautiful. And you can see I got 33 hours on it. I'm pretty anal about my equipment and keep everything really clean, so hence the floor towel there. But this is well thought out. You can go in and look at your diagnostics of anything you want pretty much set up. It's a full computer. So I want to go into machine info, engine readings. Now, Caterpillar they had something similar to this, had some analog gauges in the Tier 4 interims, but the Tier 4 interims are extremely loud inside. Now they have went to a actually there's 4 versions of a D6T. There's the original Tier 3, which had the old fan belts in it. Then they had the IT4 version, which is what I had. Then they went to a Tier 4 final version, which had a 9-speed transmission, and now they got a Tier 4 final version improved. It actually has a torque divider instead of a torque converter, and they got like 32 gears, and it's supposed to operate more like a hydro, but still kind of a 3. I think it's a 4-speed transmission now instead of a 3. It's a new transmission, a new torque converter or torque divider that they're using, and they've improved their instrumentation as well. So, in my opinion, for the line of work that I do, the brand new D6Ts, or even for that fact, the Tier 4 final version, and this particular machine, the two of them working side by side are just about unbeatable. You take a John Deere like this, and they got the best for an LGP PAT configuration. It's the best I've ever run. And in a semi-U push tractor, I would absolutely die to have one of those brand new Cat Tier 4 final versions. But work is a little bit slow right now in the excavation business, so we're not gonna probably consider that. We'll probably just keep what we got, and we'll see how the everything works out with the case deal. Down here, this is where your this machine's actually wired for TopCon, and that's where that would go. And for anybody that doesn't know how to operate this, John Deere gives a real handy little sticker along the window here. Tells you what to do and all your push buttons. And everybody has those, but it seems to me like John Deere just makes it much more cut and dry how to read it. I did that negative video on case, and there's some things about the case that aren't negative, such as maybe the track shoes. I mean, can't say it's 100% loss, but it's just 95% across the board. It's a fail. So this John Deere dozer, if you're looking at saying, hey, I want a hydro machine with a configuration that's a low ground pressure, low track, excluding Cat high track machines, PAT. So that's going to give you a Komatsu or a Deere and a case, and that I don't know about Komatsu, don't know enough about them. I know there's not a whole lot of dealer support or resale for them around my area, but I do know that the case, I have one. It's you can take it for what it's worth from other videos. It just, compared to this John Deere, just day and night. Absolutely day and night. When I demoed them, I took them out and I was looking at performance, how much per hour I could move, and my brain just didn't have enough time to process, hey, wow, this John Deere's 10 times quieter in the cab. The air conditioning's better ducted, just day and night. Every single thing about this machine's thought out, and that case is just an epic failure. And right next to it, we got the Volvo 250 EL, which is a wonderful machine, and the custom bucket I had done. It's a 54-inch bucket with a PSM thumb mated to it. It's a progressive link, 100% full rotation, means it follows the bucket anywhere you want it. Has lots of power, lots of grab. Great machine. God, I love that excavator. So this combination right here, I've just been extremely happy with. But up here you got the radio. Again, you got Bluetooth and little places here, tie in your phone. Air conditioning, if you look back last summer, it was hot and I was doing a demo on these. Yeah, the air conditioning comes down. Cold air sinks to the floor, hot air rises. Makes sense to me at the AC's in the roof. But really, really quiet in the cab. Started it up, just barely even hear it. You got quick throttle. You can toggle your throttle up or down up here. You pull these back and it'll automatically idle down. Auto idle option. Just through and through, really thought out machine. The only negatives of this machine I have are the side doors. I think they could have made a little bit of improvement to service. These doors here, if you're on a hillside and you open them, they love to go flying around backwards. And I talked to an engineer about putting a drawer, drawers in like a house. You open them and they'll kind of like slow down and shut towards the end, or like a snap-on toolbox. That's kind of what they need to do here, so when they go flying around, they slow down before they go back and latch. Instead, you're sitting on a hillside and you just go to get out and that thing goes clear around and catches. So the doors are a little bit of a negative. Service, and like I said, some of this ergonomics I don't white, I think they could use a little improvement on, but I'm not really too big complaint on that. Other than that, there's just no complaints at all. I mean, nothing but positive things. Good comfortable seat, good visibility to the ripper. And those rippers are made by, or last I knew, they were made by Vail. Yeah, I don't use the ripper a lot, but you get hardpack clay in the summer, where you get tree roots. Great way to take care of that problem. If you go back in my archive last summer, I was testing these. I actually set an obstacle course up, and I was what they call the consonant, meaning, you know, I was the same operator for both machines. And I went out on the same hillside. I built terraces. I see how many feet per hour I could build. I did grading. I did everything. I put it up against Inter Tier 4 2012 Caterpillar D6T XW with a semi-U blade. And the John Deere actually outperformed that machine cubic yards per hour, what I felt is comfort throughout the working day, and just noise levels and everything else. Yeah, I measured the piles of dirt and everything, and it was actually outperforming the Cat a little bit. And I think the main reason was because the Cat, you get in a hard push, it really drastically slowed down due to the torque divider, or not torque divider, torque converter. Now, Cat's obviously caught on to that, and they say, hey, John Deere's got some performance here. That's why they've switched over to a torque divider, and they went to a 4-speed transmission. It's going to operate more like a hydro. At certain RPMs, it actually locks tracks solid. It's just going to spin the tracks like an old direct drive cable dozer. I mean, they were that way. So Cat's made some improvements. So if you want to look at serial number for serial number, meaning year 2018 to 2018, again, I just am sold on Caterpillar and John Deere equipment. On the excavators, I really like the Volvo. There's a couple little things there that could use improvement. Every brand's going to have something positive or negative, but overall, if you're looking at a dozer, I would just heavily recommend stay Cat or John Deere. And if anybody watching my videos there on that case, I talked about the service points. John Deere's is like Cat, oil sealed. Everything's oil sealed. No grease points in there like case. Nothing, you have to grease every day. All the grease are on the top. They're easy to get to. Good design. So that case is a kind of neat looking machine, but it doesn't even rank as a bulldozer compared to this thing. So I'll try to do a little bit more, maybe tear into this one some more. But if you're looking at a good quality built dozer, take a look at these John Deeres. Thanks for watching.